Good morning, what's shaking, what's happening? Welcome back to Tasty Bites, Timeless Travels. And today is day 8 of the Holland America World Cruise on the MS Rotterdam 2025. Today we are in Ecuador. Come join us. Some eggs, some bacon, a hash brown, some juice, some coffee, and because I got pancakes once, I guess I need them every day, but they're so delicious. I did want a bigger breakfast today. It is we're not sure when we're going to eat lunch. We're not planning on getting off the ship till about 10, so we'll either eat locally in Ecuador or we'll come back to the ship and eat, but it is a long walk to get to the boardwalk area, which is I think where we're going. But then our leader servers also said that there's a very nice mall across the street from the port, so I have an odd feeling we might just end up at the mall, but who knows. Now look at how beautiful this is. You got all these fishing boats. This is the tuna fish capital of the world, evidently. Everything I had read kind of described it as like a small fishing village, but this is not a small fishing village by any means. This is a whole big city. It is beautiful. It's kind of chilly. There's a big wind today. It was supposed to rain, but it doesn't look like it's going to rain anymore. As far as plans for the day, there is a air-conditioned shopping mall across the street. That's where a lot of the crew goes because there's a major grocery store there. We do like to look at grocery stores in other countries. There's also a big beach boardwalk area. It is a Saturday here, so there's no telling how busy things are going to be. We are here forever. We docked at 4 in the morning because people do get off to do the Galapagos Island tours because this is their launching point for that. And we do not even leave this port till 10:30 at night. I don't know why we're here so late at night because the people do not join us for Galapagos Islands until we get down to Peru. But we're here late, so we've got a lot of wandering. Fun fact about Manta, Ecuador, this is actually where the Panama hat was invented. It originates from this region. It was called a Panama hat because so many of these people left to go work on the canal in Panama and took these hats that's where they got discovered, and they were referred to as Panama hats. So fun fact about this area of Ecuador. Manta and Monte Cristi, which is it's that way. It's off a little further north, and then there's a beautiful island to the south of us, which is referred to as the poor man's Galapagos. Not doing that either. We just kind of want to wander around. C really wants to go to the shopping mall. I think she needs a couple of pairs of shorts or something, and the crew says it's fantastic. We looked at the website. It is American style stores, so we might do that. We might wander. We might go to the beach walk, the boardwalk, and the mall. But this is a working pier, which means that it is not a cruise port. So we do have to take a shuttle bus to the port itself to get off and go into town. So let's get going. So we have made it inside the terminal building at Manta, Ecuador. It's really nice. It's air conditioned. There's Wi-Fi. There's restrooms. There's a lot of vendors. There's some local vendors. There's some tour companies. You can arrange for a taxi. What's common in a lot of countries is you can hire a taxi driver for a day, and they will take you around to different spots in the city. Now, before I step out of the cruise terminal, we were told yesterday in that port talk, the ship is updated every day by the FBI. The different ports and things we're going to, so they know if they need to change course or if they need to tell us anything special. And Ecuador did get an alert, so they told us to make sure we're not wearing a lot of jewelry. They can be stolen right off your neck, right off your finger, right off your wrist. There's like a phone thing that said make sure you're not out using your phone in public near a street because somebody will come by on a motorcycle and just snatch it and drive off with it. So definitely keep your valuables close. You tend to do that on almost any foreign country. I mean, you tend to do that in New York City, and quite honestly, I tend to do it in Disney World and Universal too, just because I know those things can happen anywhere, but it's always just a nice reminder. But they did tell us about some of the local scams to make sure that we were on the lookout for them. So first stop in the mall is the pharmacy. Like I said, we do like visiting the foreign pharmacies. It's the same exact medicine as you get in the States most of the time, but it's still a lot cheaper. But this one has like a mini mart. It's really funny. It's like you can buy a crock pot while you buy your medicine. It's kind of like a Walmart or like a Long's or a CVS, Walgreens. So it's this new mall is super nice though. Let's look at some of the specific snacks for Ecuador. Look at these Oreos. They're probably the same Oreos, but they're packaged different. And look at the Super Mario Brothers on them. How fun. But nice little selection of snacks. For Doritos, they're lemon flavored, but I think lemon means lime in Spanish. I'm not 100% sure. But a little mini mart. And Charlie Pop. Check this out. You can get KFC ice cream at the mall. The casino always told us about that. We didn't know what she was talking about, but this is what it is. It looks delicious. Fun fact, the food at this mall is incredibly cheap, is what we noticed. Now it's too early, it's only 10:30 and we had that big breakfast because we didn't realize we were that close to the mall from the ship. But take a look at this. Look at how good that looks. And it is only $4.99. And because Ecuador and the US dollar are 1 for 1, it is truly just $4.99. So we're not hungry, but if you are in Manta, Ecuador on a cruise and are wanting some cheap lunch, come to the mall. All right, so we found this store. It's like Mega Max or Multimax or something. It does remind me of a Walmart or Carrefour if you're over in like France or the French Polynesia area. There's electronics, there's clothes, there's groceries. You can buy a flat screen TV. You can buy a blender. We cannot wait to find the American section. A lot of times with places like this, you can find souvenirs for so much cheaper than what you would find in the souvenir shops along the strip, because this is more of like a local store, or just like a Walmart would be. Yeah. Being from Orlando, we have Walmarts in the tourist area, so they stock up on a lot of souvenirs there because it's so much cheaper than buying them at the theme parks. But let's take a look around. All right, thoughts on the mall. It was actually a really nice mall. That store didn't have an American section, but we always kind of like to look to see how they have like these mass quantities of M&Ms and crap like that. We are headed back to the port area. Has an entrance to the boardwalk there. Let's see if we can get a little bit of fresh fish. Otherwise, we'll just head on back to the ship. But so far, pretty impressed with this place. It's nice. All right, we have made it to the boardwalk. It is a Saturday, so it is kind of busy with some locals. Our ship is over there to the right. It's really nice. There's lots of restaurants. There's some shopping. It got overcast while we were in the mall a little bit, but not too bad. It is keeping it kind of cool. Like I said, it was predicting rain today, and there is no rain. So we're gonna walk a little bit on the boardwalk and then we're gonna head back to the ship. But this is a lot of fun. So far, I'm very impressed with this town. Lots to do right at the port. They had a lot of tours that would take you other places, but if you're just looking to kind of chill and walk around and talk to some locals and see like a fun vibe, Ecuador's where it's at. All right, so we were catching the bus back to the ship, but look at this bus. It's like the disco bus. It even has a movie playing. We were the first people on the bus, so I don't know how long we're gonna have to sit here and wait for the next person, but we'll wait. All right, so we did not eat lunch on the boardwalk. It was really the only time I think either of us felt heckled. The restaurant vendors are very, very pushy about trying to get you in. There was even a guy who said, "Hey, today I'm giving a discount for people that are wearing a Carolina Panthers t-shirt." What I'm wearing. So, and all the menus were the same. So we said, oh, this isn't looking like the nice local food vibe that we were looking for. It felt very state fairish to me, or I can't put my finger on it, but it reminded me of somewhere else. But literally all the menus were the same. So we decided to come over to Lido for lunch. I ended up at Dive In. So Dive In has a grilled chicken sandwich, and it has like guacamole on it. I got some fries, and then I hit up some cold salads, and a ginger ale today for me. Now, Dive In's not necessarily one of our favorites. It does take a while to get your food. A lot of times it's cold when you get it. But I'm just feeling it today. So we'll see how it is. Alright. Did get regular food, but we didn't take a video of it because it's all stuff you've seen before. But for dessert, she got this vegan berry crisp thing. Now, she does love her little sprinkles that she calls Jimmy's. I think it's a cultural thing, but look at that. Look at the fruit. So that would be her something sweet today. Right. So I did end up getting something sweet at Lido. We walked a lot, so I think I deserve a double dessert day. And I went with some pecan pie and some vanilla ice cream. Feeling very home-style comfort today. I do love some pecan pie. All right. So taking a lot of cruises. I don't think I've ever had this happen. We were eating lunch and we could feel the ship moving, and to the point that we were like, we're tied off. I wonder why it's moving so much. The current is so bad that the captain made a decision that, because it was staff in the mooring lines, the captain made a decision that we weren't going to stay docked anymore. We are now moving out into the ocean, and they are going to tender for the rest of the day because we aren't in this port until like 10 o'clock at night. So the only thing I could think about is... So that is the beach boardwalk area that we were walking on. It literally connects to the cruise port terminal. There's a way to get there from there. Can you imagine if you were sitting in one of those restaurants or strolling down the boardwalk or chilling at the beach, or even just the mall, you can see the ship from the mall, and then all of a sudden you look up and you realize your ship is moving and you have no idea why, because we are still scheduled to be here for 9 more hours. So hopefully the people will figure out that they're not being left. We're just moving for safety reasons. But, you know, keeping it safe, it's just, man, I've never seen anything like that. I'm okay with tenders. C hates tenders, so I'm glad we got off and got back home before tendering happened. But I do feel bad because, like, our Lido guy, Leo, was helping us with lunch today, and he said, I should get to go ashore about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and that is when they stopped letting people go ashore, because they stopped letting people go out about an hour before they moved the ship, because he said, nope, I think I can tender, we're going to leave, we're just going to let people back on, and they just turned the engines off, so we must be in our spot that we're going to tender at. But I don't even know where they're going to let people get on the pier, because we were already getting off on floor 1, which typically whenever you port, you get off on floor A, deck A. So, but we are out here chilling with our fishing boat friends. So it is a lot calmer out here, though. I will say that. So he definitely knew what he was doing. All right, y'all. This afternoon, we didn't do anything. Where we have been moved out to being a tender operation, the boat still rocks, but it's like a very gentle little rock, like you would have been rocked to sleep as a child, and we ended up falling asleep. I'm surprised we woke up in time for dinner, but we did wake up in time for dinner. But dinner menu looks amazing tonight. It has quite a few of my faves on it, and it has Salisbury steak, so it makes you feel kind of homey. So at least we woke up for dinner. But something fun about Holland, room service is free, so there's always room service had we slept through dinner. But we made it to the main dining room. All right, and appetizers have arrived. C went a little different today. No shrimp cocktail for her. She went for the eggplant hummus. Now, it is supposed to come with whole wheat pita chips, but they actually have dairy in them, so she wasn't allowed to have them. But they did tell her that she could have this bread that was part of the table basket, so that is going to be her appetizer for the evening. And for me, it is my favorite tangerine shrimp with sweet potato puree. Now, I know you're saying, wow, that sounds weird, but trust me, it's delicious. You got to give it a go. Just some delicious appetizers. Our mains have arrived. C got the brisket, For her modifications, she just had to get a baked potato, but it looks like the rest of the dish is pretty much the same. Fairly certain they probably gave her vegan slaw instead of the other slaw, because that's the same slaw we see at Lido. But she's got some brisket, and for me, I was feeling comfort food. I got the Salisbury steak, and I mean this in the best of ways. This looks like straight up TV dinner, like I used to have in the 90s as a kid. Like, look at the peas and carrots. But I say that like in a good way, not like a crappy way. I did love a good TV dinner back then. All right, dinner was delicious for something sweet. They have a new sorbet flavor tonight. So C has got a beautiful looking watermelon sorbet. We're back to whose dish is prettier, and she wins. And then for me, I got a hazelnut cake, which I'm assuming is going to taste like Nutella, but it comes with popcorn. So, who doesn't like cake? And good night. With that, we are going to wrap up our day. Just to recap it, Ecuador, I really enjoyed Manta, Ecuador. Wasn't C's favorite, but I think it's just because when we got to the boardwalk area, that's really the only time we had people kind of like hawking at us trying to go into the restaurant. They were pretty aggressive, and we were getting hungry, but literally everyone's menu was the exact same. So it didn't feel like a nice local restaurant vibe, so we didn't want to do it. But as far as the rest of Manta is concerned, the area around the port is nice. The shopping there is very expensive, but once you get outside the port, the vendors at the street, they were extremely cheap, and they were also not pushy. They would ask if you want something, and the minute you said no thank you, they said okay, and just kind of walked off. So, they're going to ask, but then when you say no, they're going to leave. So, what more could you ask for? Manta was walkable. The streets are very uneven, though, so do be careful with that. The change to Tinder was crazy. People were talking about it. The people that got stuck at the port waiting on the tendering to start, they said they were stuck there for quite a while before they were allowing them to come back on the tender boats. But also the captain really, really encouraged people not to leave the ship once we moved to tendering operation. He did not like the way that the ocean was moving or something, so people still went out, but I think at dinner he announced that there was still 200 people off the ship, and as soon as they got here, we were leaving. He wasn't waiting till 10 o'clock to leave. As soon as he could leave, they could leave. They're not allowed to tender after sundown. They can only bring people back anyway, and it is evening time. Manta's beautiful at night. It's beautiful city light, like beautiful cityscape. But Manta, Ecuador, I say yes. Just eat at the mall. But the third floor was kind of hot, and we were kind of early, so that's why we didn't eat at the mall. But the mall food actually looked really good. But the mall was very clean and very safe. There was a bunch of banks there, and all of them had security guards. I don't know. Maybe it was payday in Ecuador. Who knows? But that is going to wrap up this evening. Tomorrow is going to be another sea day as we make our way down to Peru. It should be interesting the next few days because we have lost a lot of people that are on the excursions to the Galapagos, all the Holland America excursions for Galapagos, and they were pricey. They were between $6,000 and $8,000, depending if you were adding in Machu Picchu. They were all sold out, plus plenty of people had third-party excursions, so the ship already feels like there's not a lot of people on it to begin with because it was only 70%. Then we lost people for the Galapagos Islands expeditions today, or excursions. So it should be interesting. There are some sea day activities. The weird lecturer guy's giving one about potatoes from around the world. I may or may not go to it. Who knows? But tomorrow's also a dressy night, so we shall see how that differs from formal night, because formal night did not feel as formal as we thought it would. But with that, we're going to wrap it up. Make sure you subscribe, like, and follow us along as we continue our adventures of Holland America's World Cruise on the Zuiderdam 2025. Night!